Hey guys, how the hell are you? Welcome back to Arnold Drinks. My name is Arnold, and tonight I drink. Tonight I am drinking Uncle Nearest 1884. This is a Tennessee small batch whiskey that is 93 proof, so 46.5% alcohol by volume. This is something that in my travels, a lot of folks have suggested that I should probably give this a shot. They know that I'm after that perfect dessert bourbon out there. They know I'm looking for something a little bit rich, a little complex, and with some sweet notes on it. And a few people have suggested that I need to at least give this a shot, see how I feel about it. So here we are today. I've poured out a little bit and let it sit for about maybe 5 minutes in the Glencairn just to kind of allow it to acclimate. The legs on the side of the glass are rather fast moving, so I'm not expecting this to be super viscous or anything like that. Rather quick to sort of go down the glass, and it's also not really forming in any sort of straightforward pattern. It's just kind of sporadic, a little bit here, a little bit there. So not something that is probably going to have a super thick, creamy, heavy alcohol mouthfeel on it. Then again, at 93 proof, I don't know what I was expecting. Definitely not that. But just reporting the facts. So definitely some sweeter notes on the aroma. Bit of honey, like kind of that Texas wildflower honey. Definitely something like that, kind of a natural sweetness to it, but it's not like super overpowering. I'm actually getting toast, graham cracker kinda, maybe something else that's kind of like a sort of like a dry, grainy kind of snack in there. Going back to the toast note, definitely getting some aromas of like buttered rye toast, if that makes any sense. I don't know what the mash bill is like on this. I don't know how high of a rye content there is, but definitely has to be something in there because I'm getting a lot of rye in the aroma. And now once you get past that, now all of a sudden there's a little teeny tiny hint of some dried fruit in there. Like maybe like a little bit of dried banana, like that freeze-dried banana that you sometimes find in trail mix, that sort of aroma in there. So something worth mentioning is that in the aroma, I didn't really get a big ethanol punch in the face at all. It was kind of barely there, if at all. I was getting a lot more of the other notes on the aroma. First thing that I'm getting from tasting this, and this might be just something due to it being a relatively new bottle that I just recently picked up, but I'm definitely getting a little bit more of an alcohol burn right off the bat, which is a little odd considering it is a 93 proofer. Yeah, there's a little bit of an alcohol burn right at the front end, and then that kind of mellows into that sort of toasty, graham crackery, buttery note that I had in the aroma. Definitely staying on that kind of buttered rye toast thing. There's a little bit of a cinnamon note that's on the back end. In the aftertaste, I'm getting a little bit more of that cinnamon coming back through, and now all of a sudden that honey note's coming back through. Let me go in for a second sip here. Yeah, definitely something where I would say the predominant note that I'm getting out of this is not necessarily a sweet note. It's more grainy than anything like that. Definitely a bit of that rye toast. It keeps coming through. A little bit of butter note, a little bit of a honey note, a little bit of caramel finally kicking in on that second sip a little bit. Not so much any vanilla or anything. So far, what everyone is saying that this is probably a dessert bourbon, I'm inclined to disagree, but at the same time, it is a brand new bottle that I just recently picked up. I think what I need to do with this is let it sit on the shelf for a little bit, let it get acclimated, and see what happens. See if the same thing that happens with like some of the other stuff on my shelf, where the flavor profile dramatically shifts after about a month or two of not touching it. Because as it stands right now, I'm getting more of toast than anything else. It's definitely not a bad thing if that's something that you look for in your bourbon and whiskey. It's just not necessarily what I was hoping for out of this, if that makes any sense. It's still good, it's still balanced. That ethanol kick that I had on the first sip is actually kind of more subdued on the second sip. Let's go in for a third just to see if anything changes on this third one. So on the third sip, a little bit smoother, a little bit easier going down. I'm starting to notice that the finish isn't lingering very much either, so it's definitely kind of a short finish to it, lasting about maybe 15 seconds, maybe a little bit more than that. There's just kind of a lingering cheek pinch that's up here. Definitely that cinnamon note hits on the back end when the finish is there. The palate, I really just can't get away from that sort of grain kind of toast note. It's just so super present in there with just a little bit of other stuff just kind of behind it. That honey, that butter, a little bit of that caramel in there, but yeah, dessert bourbon, not so much. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and as always, remember, take what you do seriously, do not take yourselves too seriously.